Welcome back, everybody, for another deep dive into the Penrose Effect.
Yes, we're picking up with Chapter 5 today, The Ties That Bind.
Ooh, things are getting really interesting now.
They really are. A lot of twists and
The
turns.
psychological mystery that's got us all hooked.
Yeah, for sure.
Last time we left off, our main character's really struggling to piece together his fragmented memories.
Right.
Who is he and what happened to him?
Yeah.
Well, get ready for a roller coaster of emotions and some really mind-bending twists.
Okay.
So to really bring Chapter 5 to life, we're going to go on a journey through the text itself.
Right, like a good old-fashioned radio drama.
Exactly.
I'm ready when you are.
All right, let's do it.
Okay.
I think you're up first.
Okay, great. So, the fifth day began with a strange clarity, as if the fog that had clouded my mind was finally beginning to lift. Every sensation was sharper, the world around me more vivid, but it came with a feeling of vulnerability, like I was exposed to something vast and dangerous. I moved through my morning carrying the weight of memories I couldn't fully recall but could no longer ignore.
As I made my way to work, I replayed the fragments that had surfaced the night before. The sterile room, the man in the white coat, the symbol of the three interlocking circles. Each memory felt like a piece of a puzzle, but I still couldn't see the full picture. I knew I was closer than ever to uncovering the truth, yet something inside me warned that I was nearing the edge of something I might not be able to come back from.
The atmosphere at the office was tense, filled with an energy that seemed to crackle beneath the surface. I caught Leela watching me from across the room, her gaze steady, as though she could sense the shift within me. I could see the worry in her eyes mingled with something else, something that looked like pride.
She didn't approach me, and I understood why. Whatever I was uncovering, it was a journey I had to complete on my own. Leela had helped guide me, given me hints and warnings, but the final steps were mine to take. I felt a strange comfort in her silent presence, knowing that I wasn't entirely alone, even as I walked into the unknown.
The day passed in a blur, my focus drifting in and out, my thoughts consumed by the fragments of memory that kept pushing to the surface. By the time I left the office, dusk had fallen, casting long shadows across the city streets. I found myself drawn, once again, to the alley where I'd first seen the graffiti. The wall was still bare, yet something compelled me to return, as if the empty space held a secret I was on the verge of uncovering.
As I stood there, staring at the blank brick wall, a rush of images and sensations flooded my mind, the boundaries between memory and reality blurring until I could no longer tell where one ended and the other began. I was back in the sterile room, seated in the cold metal chair, my hands gripping the edges so tightly my knuckles turned white. The man in the white coat stood before me, his expression impassive, his eyes sharp and calculating. I could feel the tension in the room, a silent, suffocating pressure that pressed down on me, filling my chest with a sense of dread.
"You don't need to remember," he said, his voice calm and controlled. "This is for your own good."
I wanted to scream, to tell him he was wrong, but my voice wouldn't come. My body felt heavy, paralyzed, as though bound by invisible chains. I could feel the weight of his gaze, cold and indifferent, as if I were nothing more than a subject under his control.
And then, out of the corner of my eye, I saw her, my sister. She stood just behind the man, her face partially obscured in shadow, her eyes wide with fear. The sight of her sent a jolt through me, a surge of recognition that shattered the walls within my mind, bringing everything into painful clarity.
She was younger than I remembered, her expression haunted, but I could feel the connection between us, the unbreakable bond that had been stripped from me, buried beneath layers of forgetting. The man in the white coat hadn't just erased her from my memory, he had torn her from me, severed the only link that had kept me grounded, kept me whole.
As I looked at her, she mouthed a single word, her lips forming the syllables in silence, but I could feel the weight of it pressing into my mind.
Prometheus.
The memory fractured, splintering like glass, and I was back in the alley, my breath coming in ragged gasps, the world spinning around me. My sister. She was real. She had been with me, a part of my life, until they took her away, until they erased her from my mind. The weight of that realization pressed down on me, filling me with a grief so profound it felt like a physical ache.
But with the grief came something else, a fierce, burning rage. They had stolen her from me, severed our bond, and left me to wander through life with a hollow ache I could never explain. And I knew, with a certainty that terrified me, that Dr. Grayson, the man in the white coat, was at the heart of it all.
I stumbled back to my apartment, my mind reeling from the memories that had surfaced, each one a jagged piece of a puzzle I was finally beginning to understand. I sat on the edge of my bed, staring at the wall, my thoughts racing, connecting threads I hadn't seen before.
You can practically feel the weight of those memories, you know? It's like he's waking up from a really long, unsettling dream.
Yeah, it does feel like an awakening, but with that awakening comes this wave of pain, confusion, and this burning desire for answers.
Layla's words echoed in my mind. Her warnings about the Penrose Effect, the mental maze designed to keep me from the truth. I could feel it now, the invisible chains tightening around my mind, the barriers thickening as I drew closer to the memories they had tried so hard to erase. But I refused to stop. I would keep pushing, keep digging, until I had uncovered every last piece of the truth.
This is really where this story, I think, takes a fascinating turn.
Okay.
Our protagonist is starting to realize that his amnesia, it's not just an accident. It's a carefully, orchestrated manipulation. He's been trapped in this mental labyrinth, and every step he takes towards the truth seems to trigger these new levels of resistance.
It makes you wonder about the nature of memory itself.
Yeah.
How much of who we are is shaped by what we remember?
Yeah.
And what happens when those memories are tampered with? I don't know. It's chilling to think about.
Yeah, it really is. It raises a lot of questions about identity, control, the very nature of reality. This next passage, I think, is particularly poignant.
Okay.
Ready?
Yeah. I closed my eyes, letting the memories come, each one sharper, more vivid, filling in the gaps that had haunted me for so long. I was a child again, standing beside my sister in a darkened room, the two of us clutching each other's hands as we watched figures move through shadows. The man in the white coat was there, his presence, a cold, looming force that filled me with a sense of dread I couldn't shake. I could hear his voice, low and clinical, speaking words I didn't fully understand but knew were meant to keep us quiet, to keep us in line.
So here we get this glimpse into the protagonist's past, a shared memory with his sister.
Right.
Notice that recurring image of the man in the white coat always lurking in the shadows.
Right.
You know, a symbol of control and secrecy.
Right.
It's clear that this event from his childhood is somehow connected to the larger conspiracy that's unfolding.
Yeah, and there's a sense of foreboding, too, in this scene, almost like watching a horror movie. You know something terrible is about to happen, but you can't look away.
Precisely. And that feeling is heightened in the next line.
Okay. And then I remembered something else. A warning whispered by his sister as she squeezed my hand, her voice barely audible, but filled with urgency.
Pay close attention to his sister's warning here,
Okay.
because it reveals a crucial detail about the nature of this conspiracy.
They can't know we saw, she had said. If they find out, they'll make us forget.
The memory hit me like a blow, the full weight of it settling over me, and I understood finally what they had done. We had witnessed something we weren't supposed to see, something they couldn't allow us to remember. And in their desperation to keep their secrets, they had torn my sister from me, buried her memory in a labyrinth of forgetting, and left me to walk through life alone.
This is heartbreaking. It's the moment he realizes the full extent of their manipulation, how far these people went to erase their memories, to protect their secrets. It explains why he feels so disconnected and lost. A part of him has been missing. He's only just realizing it now.
It's a powerful realization, and it fuels his determination to fight back, to reclaim his stolen past.
As I opened my eyes, I felt a surge of determination, a fire that burned within me, fierce and unyielding. They had taken everything from me, but I would not let them win. I would find my sister, uncover the truth they had buried, and bring their lies crashing down around them.
Yeah, this is a pivotal moment for the protagonist. You know, he's no longer a victim here.
Yeah.
He's choosing to fight back. He's claiming his agency, his power.
He's embracing that name his sister whispered too, Prometheus.
Right.
It's like he's taking on that mantle, a
Yes.
symbol of defiance
Yeah.
against those who try to control him, erase him.
Exactly. Prometheus, in Greek mythology, was the titan who stole fire from the gods and gave it to humanity. Here, our protagonist is reclaiming his own fire, his own knowledge, his own truth.
Because I was Prometheus, bound not by chains of iron, but by chains of the mind. And I would tear down every wall, climb every impossible stair, until I had freed her from the prison they had built. The memory of her face lingered in my mind. Her eyes, filled with a sorrow and strength, it mirrored my own. And I knew, with a certainty that filled me with both hope and fear, that I would not rest until I had brought her back.
This passage is beautifully written. It captures the protagonist's fierce determination and the depth of his love for his sister. He's willing to risk everything to find her. to undo the wrong that was done to them.
Yes, and it sets the stage for what promises to be an epic showdown.
Right.
He's ready to confront his tormentors, to expose their secrets, and to reclaim his stolen life.
As the night deepened, I prepared myself for the journey ahead, the final steps toward the truth that had been kept from me. I was no longer a passive observer, a prisoner trapped within the Penrose Effect.
This is where we see that full transformation of our protagonist. He shed his old identity, the one that was imposed upon him,
Right.
and he's embracing his true self.
Yeah.
The one who remembers, the one who fights back.
I was Prometheus, and I was ready to reclaim the fire they had stolen, to bring light to the darkness that had kept me bound.
He's stepping into the light,
Yeah.
ready to face whatever comes next.
And as I drifted into a restless sleep, the last thought that crossed my mind was her voice, echoing through the silence, a promise that bound me to the path ahead.
And that full voice, that promise, it'll guide him through the darkness.
Remember.
Wow. Powerful ending to the chapter.
Really is.
It leaves you breathless, doesn't it? The tension, the emotional intensity, the sense of impending confrontation. It's like the author has pulled back the curtain,
Yeah.
given us a glimpse of the storm that's brewing.
It certainly does. It was full of twists and turns, revelations, and raw emotion, this chapter. That ending, remember, gave me chills.
It really did.
It's such a simple word,
Yeah.
yet it carries so much weight in this story.
Right.
It's a call to action, you know?
Yeah.
It's a reminder of everything he's lost and a promise of what he's fighting for.
It makes you think, doesn't it?
It does.
About the power of memory,
Absolutely.
how it shapes who we are,
Right.
how it connects us to others.
And it's fascinating here how the author uses that concept of the Penrose Effect
Right.
as a metaphor for the way our memories can be manipulated,
Right.
distorted,
Yeah.
erased even.
Yeah.
It makes you question what's real,
Right.
what's imagined, and who is controlling the narrative.
It's like we're right there with the protagonist,
Yeah.
questioning everything we thought we knew,
Right.
feeling that same sense of disorientation and urgency
Absolutely.
as he digs deeper into this mystery.
And that sense of unease,
Right.
that constant questioning,
Yeah.
that's what makes the story so compelling.
It really is.
It's a psychological thriller that keeps you guessing,
Keeps you on the edge of your seat.
keeps you on the edge of your seat. But it's also a story about the resilience of the human spirit,
Oh, absolutely.
the power of hope, and the unbreakable bond of family.
Even in the face of, unimaginable manipulation and loss,
Right.
our protagonist refuses to give up.
He doesn't.
He's driven by this deep-seated need to uncover the truth, to reclaim his stolen past,
Yes.
and to reunite with his sister.
It's a powerful reminder that even when everything seems lost, there's always a reason to fight,
There is.
a reason to hope.
I agree.
As we head into Chapter 6, The Breaking Point,
Oh.
I have a feeling those themes of resilience and hope are going to be tested even further.
Yet just the title alone
Right.
suggests a pivotal moment, a point of no return for our protagonist.
Absolutely.
I'm both excited and terrified to see what happens next.
I know, me too.
Will he confront Dr. Grayson?
Who knows?
Will he find his sister?
Right.
What other secrets will he uncover along the way?
So many questions.
So many questions.
And that is what I think keeps us coming back for more.
It does.
And I think that's the brilliance of this story. It's
Right.
not just a thrilling mystery. It's a reflection of our own fears and anxieties about control,
Right.
manipulation, and the fragility of our own identities.
So to our listener, as you continue this journey into the Penrose Effect, I encourage you to pay attention not just to the plot twists and turns, but also to the deeper questions the story raises.
Yeah.
What does it mean to remember?
Right.
Who gets to control our memories, our narratives, and what lengths would we go to for those we love?
These are the questions that linger long after the final page is turned.
That's so true.
And they're the questions that make the Penrose Effect more than just a story.
I agree.
It's an exploration of the human condition,
Yeah.
a reminder of the power of the mind, and a testament to the enduring strength of the human spirit.
Until next time, when we delve into Chapter 6, The Breaking Point,
Yes.
keep those lights on and those minds sharp.
The Penrose Effect is just getting started.